In weeks 3 and 4, we focused on Google Docs and its power to support literacy across all subject areas. And so participation task number 2 sort of builds on that. So when you see participation task number 2, you click the gray open button, and what you'll see here, in addition to some of the links, you'll also see your own document template. A copy has been made for each of you. That is going to be your work area for participation task 2. In addition, there's a link to the website for weeks 3 and 4, which talk about some of the support materials that are there, as well as the link back to this participation task 2. We've got a link to the literacy progressions. And if you choose the participation task for level 5, it involves a screen recording, which very well might involve Screencastify. So I've got a link for that for those of you who didn't install Screencastify in week 2. As well as, if you need it, read and write for Chrome, you probably have it already. And for those who need it, we have a link to TextHelp where you can sign up, put your credentials in for Concordia, and get read and write all the premium features for free forever. All right, so let's dive into this template here. So it's fairly straightforward. I've copied and pasted the grading criteria here for 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and 5 out of 5 on this participation task. And basically the rest of the document is your working area. So, it asks for in addition to changing the background color, actually background color is something I never really showed you. And so that's something that can be found in the file page setup in here for page color. But the rest of the stuff, you can find those tutorials on how to do that if you need to refer back to it for any of the instructional stuff. You should be able to find all of that on this week 3 and 4 page. So it asks you to put a title here. So you can just change that title and look carefully at what the requirements are for that title are. And then when it asks for an image, just go right below this and do that image piece, inserting the image. Same thing with the drawing. Put it down below here so it's easy for me to see when I open your document. Same thing with all the other things. This is below this text. So just in that little space right below is where I expect that to be, if you don't mind. So right here we would actually make the words literacy progressions and make these two words the hyperlink, okay? And you've got some, again, support materials on that week 3 and 4 page on how to do that if you haven't learned it in class. And again, we have an optional piece here in addition to some of the ICT skills involved with learning the parts of Google Docs. You've also got an option here if you wish to go 5 out of 5 to come back to those Alberta Ed competencies, or sorry, literacy progressions, I should say, and to pick any one of those. Here's you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got 7 to choose from, and you're going to pick any one of them. And just when I say copy the progression, don't copy all of this. So basically, this is the progression right here, just that short a little piece just below. Here it is. So this is LKU3 construct meaning. So it's just that little piece right there that you would copy and paste or type. And then your personal response, you've got 3 options for that personal response. The 4-line poem. And for the 4-line poem, feel free to use in those add-ons. You may recall that Rhyme Finder. If you need that, if you choose the poem, you'll find Rhyme Finder in here. Here it is. And you can just add that in if you haven't already. And your second option is the drawing. So right here you would put your personal response, you would go to the insert menu and drawing and do your drawing there. And then the third option is a voice recording. So you could do something like personal response. Now you may recall the read and write voice notes hijacks, kind of takes over that comments area. So you have to first kind of select something first and then do your voice note here. And then it will show kind of connected to those words. So that's an important part if you do choose to do your personal response as a voice note. So that's it in a nutshell. And here's the other thing. If you do decide to do the voice recording using Screencastify, you've got that Screencastify extension, which you've got to allow certain pieces. You really want to make sure that you've got this Google Drive piece connected. So once that is all set up and you do your recording, it's going to automatically save it in your Google Drive. So what you need to do for your assignment, you're not going to put the video in the Google Doc. That's not really possible. I mean, there's the link to it you could put, but that's not what I want you to do for this one. If you do decide to go for this, here's how you do it. So anything you type here is automatically saved with every keystroke. So all you need to do before you turn it in, there's really nothing to hit the save button. It's Google Docs. You don't have to hit the save button. You're going to go back to this assignment tab in Google Classroom. So you've already got your Google Doc there, and what you would do for the the video recording, the screen recording, is you'd go over here to this add. Now you may recall this from participation task 1 where you added a link. In this case, we're going to add from Google Drive. And then once you hit that, it will bring in that screen recording. Should be your most recent file, and it should show up right there. So you would add that, and this will show up as your video recording from Screencastify. And that would be how you would add that particular file in. So if you do decide to take on that 5 out of 5 challenge, it would be both the Google Doc, which should already be here in your work, and then you'd have to add from Google Drive to get that Screencastify video in there. I know some of you had a couple challenges with the permissions of that Screencastify video appearing on your website. The great part about Google Classroom is when you add files from Google Drive, it automatically changes the proper permissions that would allow the teacher to see that work. So you don't have to worry about going into your Google Drive and changing the permissions on that Screencastify video. It'll already be done for you if you choose Add from Google Drive. So that is the assignment in a nutshell. You may not need all these links. And so good luck demonstrating your competency with your ICT skills in Google Docs. And for those of you who wish the challenge, to talk a little bit about one of those literacy progressions.